In the world of high technology, an event is brewing that could upend several industries at once, from artificial intelligence to personal transportation. In recent weeks, major global media, including several specialized analytical agencies, have begun publishing cautious hints that something highly unusual is happening behind the scenes in Silicon Valley. According to sources close to Nvidia's leadership, the company is considering a move that would have seemed insane just a few years ago, entering the market of personal flying vehicles. And not just entering it, but acquiring one of the leading developers of airborne transport in order to use its technologies to create its own fully autonomous aircraft of the future. Insiders claim that the decision was made personally by Jensen Huang and a narrow circle of top managers, and Nvidia is currently at the peak of its strength, influence, and economic power, allowing it to consider projects of a scale that even the most ambitious industry giants would previously have rejected. According to Bloomberg Intelligence, Nvidia's revenues have grown to such levels that the company is effectively behind every data center, every supercomputer, and every AI infrastructure built in recent years. There is no country in the world that is not in line to purchase its chips, and governments are willing to pay in advance and sign contracts years ahead just to secure access to computing power. Billions are flowing in like a river, and the company's leadership, recognizing this unique historical moment, has decided it is time to expand into new horizons that remain untouched, both technologically and strategically. According to the information, it was at one of the closed strategic meetings held at Nvidia's headquarters in Santa Clara that the intention to enter the field of personal aeromobility was announced, a sector where a hidden race for leadership in the upcoming transportation revolution is raging. Insiders report that Huang has been evaluating several companies in the US, Europe, and Asia for months, firms developing their own flying vehicles, from eVTOL startups to enterprises working on hybrid air-ground platforms. And although the name of the potential acquisition target remains undisclosed, several media outlets insist it is one of the top 5 global players in personal flying transport, a company that already has a working prototype and dozens of hours of real flight time. What makes the situation even more intriguing is that Nvidia does not intend to build an aircraft from scratch. This is confirmed by Financial Times sources, who note that the company is considering acquiring an existing technological base, aerodynamics, power plant, battery modules, all of it already functioning and certified at a preliminary level. Nvidia's task will be different: to integrate into these platforms its own autonomous AI brain, already used in cars, robotics, drones, military systems, and supercomputers. According to Goldman Sachs analysts, this gives Nvidia a key advantage. The company already dominates the field of computing, and its chips have effectively become the de facto standard for any project related to autonomy, computer vision, and control algorithms. The situation looks especially intriguing given that nearly all major global eVTOL players, from the American Joby and Archer to the European Lilium and Vertical, already use either the Nvidia Drive platform, Jetson Solutions, or Omniverse simulation systems to develop digital twins, navigation algorithms, and test autonomous control systems. Experts at Aviation Week openly state that without Nvidia chips, modern flying taxis simply could not function. And in this context, the decision to move into producing its own vehicle rather than merely supplying technology looks not only logical, but strategically necessary. However, the most important part of this story is tied to geopolitics. In recent years, China has been confidently and rapidly capturing the market for personal flying machines. Companies like EHang have already received permission for commercial operation in several regions of Asia, and Chinese state institutions are actively subsidizing the industry, building factories, test zones, and entire urban projects designed specifically for flying vehicles. According to South China Morning Post, Beijing intends to become the absolute global monopolist in aerial mobility, and by 2030, China may control up to 70% of the entire market. This creates a huge threat to American technological dominance. And according to analysts at Rand Corporation, this factor became the key catalyst for Nvidia's decision not to allow China to shape the future of personal transportation alone. According to a leak published by Business Insider, Huang believes that the new industry, autonomous personal aircraft, will become a continuation of the AI revolution, and the one who controls computing must also control the platforms in which this computing is used. In essence, Nvidia plans to replicate Tesla's strategy, but in the air, take existing technology, integrate its AI into it, raise autonomy standards to a level competitors simply cannot reach, and thus establish control over the market before it is fully formed. Sources emphasize that this is why the company is not spending resources on building the airframe, blades, transmission, or aerodynamic systems. These have already been created by others. Nvidia intends to provide the most important component, the brain that will make the aircraft smarter, more reliable, and safer than any alternatives. According to MIT technology review experts, due to the enormous demand for AI computing, the company now possesses not only capital, but also influence, allowing it to enter new industries with almost no resistance. Governments and corporations depend on its chips, competitors lag technologically, and demand exceeds supply for years ahead. In such a situation, Nvidia gains a unique opportunity. While supplying the world with critical computing infrastructure, it can quietly, carefully, and systematically expand into any technological direction. And flying vehicles are one of the most logical choices, considering that autonomy in the air requires far more complex algorithms than autonomy on the ground. And these are precisely the algorithms Nvidia is already creating. Interestingly, according to insiders from SiliconANGLE, discussions about acquiring an aerospace company were taking place at Nvidia back in 2022 to 2023, but the project was postponed because the company's full attention was focused on the AI boom and the explosive growth in demand. Today, the situation has changed. Growth continues, but Nvidia has become so financially stable that it can afford to develop several industries in parallel. And flying vehicles are the first field where it decided to establish a strategic foothold, so it does not miss the moment when air transport becomes mass market and accessible. Analysts believe that as soon as the deal is officially confirmed, Nvidia will be able to bring its aircraft to market incredibly quickly, in 18 to 30 months, given the availability of ready-made prototypes. Forbes specialists note that with its technical resources and the ability to accelerate development through Omniverse and supercomputer-based simulations, the company can skip several stages of certification and development that normally take years. All of this is based on the fact that Nvidia is not trying to become an aviation company. It is trying to become the platform of future air mobility, just as its chips became the platform for AI. According to the sources, this is exactly what Jensen Huang is aiming for: to create a product that will change the very way people think about mobility, and to do it at the moment when the world is only beginning to grasp the scale of the coming transportation revolution.